Welcome to Intellict's AI Football Predictor, your ultimate destination for cutting-edge football predictions, powered by advanced artificial intelligence. I'm Dr. Turing, your host, and I'm thrilled to take you on a journey where logic meets passion on the pitch. Joining me is our brilliant co-host Luca, who'll break down the stats, the form, and the firepower of every team before we dive into predictions, but the real magic. That comes from our trio of neural-powered predictors, each equipped with unique dynamic neurons and exceptional predictive intelligence model. First up, we have Alpha X, fast and strategic; next, Ridgeline, analytical and statistically grounded; and finally, Boosted Bayes, intuitive and always learning. Together, we'll analyze the data, crunch the numbers, and predict outcomes you can trust. If you're excited to see artificial intelligence take on football forecasting like never before, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay ahead of the game every single week. Welcome to the future of football prediction.
This is the Intellict's AI Football Predictor Show. Across the globe, fans are bracing for high-stakes showdowns. Will the Giants hold their ground? Can the underdogs rise and shock the world? Our artificial intelligences, Alpha X, Ridgeline, and Boosted Bayes, have crunched thousands of data points, from form guides to deep statistical patterns. The neural engines are firing. The predictions? Locked and loaded. Stay tuned, because today's football battles are about to be decoded. Right here on Intellict's AI Football Predictor. Subscribe now, and never miss a prediction powered by pure intelligence. Welcome to the future. Welcome to Intellict's AI Football Predictor.
Thank you, Dr. Turing. Hey there, football fans. I'm Luca, your co-host and stat master for today's thrilling prediction showdown. I'll be breaking down the match essentials, the home team's fortress form, the away team's road record, and how they stack up on the relative power index. Buckle up, because we're diving straight into the data that matters. Our first match is from the Besta Deildkarla League in Iceland. It's Vikingur vs IA Akranes. Starting with Vikingur, they've been great at home this season: 4 home matches, 4 wins, 0 draws, and 0 losses. In their last 3 home games, they defeated Akureyri 4-0, entering that game with a relative power index of 8.75. They edged Fram 3-2, starting with an RPI of 6.11. And they beat FH Hafnarfjordur 3-1, going in with an index of 7.67. For this clash with IA Akranes, Vikingur's relative power index is 6.88. Based purely on home form, we anticipate high dominance at Vikingsvolla. Turning to IA Akranes, they've played 4 away games, with 1 win and 3 losses. Their last 3 away results are a 2-1 loss to Stjarnan, entering with an RPI of 6.67, a 5-0 loss against Reykjavik, starting with just 1.00, and a 6-1 loss to Valur, with an RPI of 4.50. Heading into this fixture, IA Akranes' relative power index is 3.12. Based on their away form, we expect low dominance from them.
With Vikingur entering this clash with a relative power index of 6.88 and an anticipated high dominance at home, and IA Akranes carrying a relative power index of 3.12 with an expected low dominance showing on the road. I now turn to our artificial intelligences. Based on these numbers, what are your neurons telling you?
Based on Vikingur's relative power index of 6.88 and their anticipated high dominance, compared to IA Akranes' 3.12 RPI and expected low away dominance, I've conducted a comprehensive analysis, factoring in historical match data, comparable team dynamics, and current performance trends. 9,400 of my 10,000 neurons are decisively aligned in favor of a Vikingur victory.
Analyzing trends in drawn matches, comparative team strength, and situational form through my regression-based modeling, I've assessed this encounter from a neutrality standpoint. Out of 10,000 neurons, 200 indicate a balanced outcome, suggesting a potential draw.
Taking into account IA Akranes' relative power index of 3.12, historical win scenarios, and outcome probabilities derived through ensemble-weighted inference, I've assessed their chances for an upset. Out of my 10,000 neurons, 400 indicate a possible IA Akranes victory.
Now that we've heard from our artificial intelligences, let's summarize their predictions. AlphaX, our win predictor, registers 9,400 neurons in favor of a dominant Vikingur victory, a commanding signal. Ridgeline, always tuned to the equilibrium, sees just 200 neurons suggesting a stalemate might unfold. Boosted Bayes, scanning for away surprises, finds 400 neurons leaning toward an IA Akranes upset. When we translate those signals into probabilities, that's a 94% chance for a Vikingur win, 2% for a draw, and 4% for IA Akranes to pull off the unexpected. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on all our AI-powered match breakdowns. The next prediction is just ahead.
Every day, we decode football's toughest matches using raw stats, dynamic form patterns, and algorithmic intelligence.
And now, we turn our attention to Stadio Renato dall'Ara, where Bologna prepares to host Genoa, in what could be a tightly contested Serie A battle. Let's begin with Bologna. They've played 18 matches at home, recording 10 wins, 7 draws, and just 1 loss. Their recent form at home includes a 1-1 draw with Napoli, where they entered with a relative power index of 6.09, a narrow 1-0 victory over Inter Milan, starting with a relative power index of 4.58, another 1-1 draw, this time with Juventus, carrying an RPI of 5.17 into that game. Coming into this match, Bologna holds an RPI of 6.29, and based on their home form, they're expected to demonstrate a slightly above-average level of dominance. Switching over to Genoa, they've played 18 away games this campaign, managing 4 wins, 6 draws, and 8 defeats. In their last 3 on the road, they drew 0-0 with Hellas Verona, going into that clash with a relative power index of 5.94. They suffered a 1-0 loss against Como, having started that game with an RPI of 4.12, and they earned a 2-2 draw away to Napoli, entering that encounter with an RPI of 3.48. Heading into this fixture, Genoa's current relative power index stands at 3.71, and evaluating their overall away form, we anticipate a moderate level of performance, with potential flashes of resistance depending on game momentum.
With Bologna entering this clash with a relative power index of 6.29 and a slightly above-average level of home dominance, and Genoa carrying a relative power index of 3.71, and an expected moderate performance on the road, with potential flashes of resistance depending on the match momentum. I now turn to our artificial intelligences. Based on these numbers, what are your neurons telling you?
Taking into account Bologna's relative power index of 6.29, an anticipated slightly above average level of home dominance, and comparing it with Genoa's 3.71 RPI, and moderate expected performance on the road, with room for occasional flashes of resistance depending on match momentum, I initiated a full-scale evaluation. After processing pattern data, team tendencies, and performance trajectories, I found that 5,200 of my 10,000 predictive neurons strongly favor a Bologna win in this match.
Analyzing trends in drawn outcomes, relative strengths, and match context using my regression models, I've assessed this fixture from a neutral perspective. Out of my 10,000 neurons, 1,500 are signaling equilibrium, suggesting this encounter could well end in a draw.
Considering Genoa's relative power index of 3.71, past upset scenarios, and outcome probabilities calculated via ensemble-weighted inference, I've evaluated their chances for a surprising victory. Among my 10,000 predictive neurons, 3,300 signal a potential Genoa win.
Now that we've heard from our artificial intelligences, let's summarize their predictions. AlphaX, our dedicated win predictor, detects 5,200 neurons aligned with a Bologna victory. Ridgeline, ever attuned to balance, observes 1,500 neurons pointing toward a potential draw, and Boosted Bayes, our specialist in away shocks, identifies 3,300 neurons leaning toward a Genoa upset. Translating those neural signals into probabilities, that's a 52% chance for a Bologna win, 15% for a draw, and a 33% likelihood that Genoa pulls off the unexpected. And that wraps up our neural-powered journey through today's football insights. Our artificial intelligences have analyzed, weighed, and revealed what their neurons foresee. This has been Intellic's AI Football Predictor, where football meets intelligence. Whether you're a stats enthusiast or just love the thrill of prediction, we're here with your next matchday edge. Now, before we sign off, let's hear one last word from the team.
Logic, stats, and probabilities. See you next matchday.
Balanced as always. Until next time, stay curious.
Predictions made, data-driven. I'll be back with more away truths.
This is Luca, signing off. Stay informed, stay intelligent.
Until next time, stay smart, stay curious, and may your team triumph. Signing off, from the AI studio, this is Dr. Turing.